If you're a man over 50 and you wake up 3 or 4 times a night just to pee, please stop for a moment. Your prostate may be silently crying for help, and you might not even realize it. The New York Times once wrote more than 50% of men over 60 experience prostate enlargement symptoms, but less than 30% know their daily habits are the real cause. Source: NY Times Health Section, 2023. That means the way you drink water, hold your urine, or even what you eat every day could be making the problem worse. I still remember the tired eyes of Mr. Walter, a 63-year-old patient who came to my clinic in Arizona. He told me he couldn't remember the last time he had a full night's sleep. At first, it was just 1 trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., then 2 trips, then 3, then 4. Eventually, he stopped sleeping altogether. He became irritable, exhausted, and withdrew from everyone around him. He used to think, this must be a normal part of aging. But no. It was his prostate, inflamed, enlarged, sending warning signs through habits we all consider harmless. In this video, I'll walk you through 9 little-known yet extremely dangerous truths about the prostate after 50, and I'll show you natural, simple ways to help you sleep deeper, pee easier, and live with more freedom every single day. If you want to stay healthy, strong, and in control after 50, hit that subscribe button now, because every day I share science-backed tips to help you protect what matters most, your independence in later life. And if you've ever delayed going to the bathroom, because you were busy, or didn't like public restrooms, or thought, I'll wait a bit longer, please, don't take your eyes off the next part, because Truth Hash 2 may just change that habit starting today. Have you ever told yourself, I'll go later? It's not that urgent, but what if I told you? Every time you hold it in, your prostate takes more damage than you think. Let me tell you about Mr. Michael. He's 68 now, a retired engineer from Texas. Back in the day, he was a man of discipline, never left his desk for bathroom breaks, even after retirement. That habit stayed with him. Just wait a little longer, he kept saying to himself. But that little longer turned into years. First came the pressure in his lower belly, then came the burning, then the feeling of urine getting stuck like it wouldn't empty fully. Eventually, he ended up in my office with an enlarged prostate and an overworked, stretched bladder. You see, when you hold your urine, your bladder expands to hold the extra liquid. That pressure doesn't just stretch the bladder muscles. It also pushes down on your prostate, which sits just below. And if your prostate is already inflamed or enlarged, every time you hold it in, you're pouring fuel on the fire. Worse yet, when urine sits in the bladder too long, it becomes more concentrated. That creates a breeding ground for bacteria, raising your risk of urinary tract infections. Holding urine isn't just a bad habit. After 50, it can quietly become a daily blow to your prostate health, but the damage doesn't show up right away. It sneaks in until your sleep is broken, your bladder weakens, and suddenly you're relying on medications or even a catheter. The body always speaks to us through thirst, through fatigue, and yes, through the urge to pee and your prostate. It speaks too. Listening is never a sign of weakness. It's how you stay in control instead of being controlled by your health. If you've ever held your pee like Mr. Michael, or you've got a small story about this habit, share it in the comments below. You never know, your story might help someone else make a change in time. Because here's the truth. Holding your urine doesn't just hurt your prostate, it puts another part of your body under so much pressure that it can actually lose function. And when that happens, you may start peeing urgently, leaking, or worse, lose control completely. Let's talk about that. Right now, if you've ever had to strain just to urinate, or felt like your bladder simply won't cooperate, chances are your bladder muscle is worn out. I once met Mr. Dennis, a 70-year-old retired teacher from California. He told me, "I still feel the urge to go, but when I'm in the bathroom, it just drips out. And I stand there for almost 10 minutes, his wife added. He gets up 6 times a night to pee, but never once feels like he's actually finished. After a full exam and ultrasound, we discovered something that affects many men after 60, but few know its name: detrusor hypertrophy. It means the bladder muscle called the detrusor has become thick, stiff, and overworked. The detrusor muscle is what pushes urine out of your body, but when the prostate becomes enlarged and squeezes the urethra, the bladder has to work harder, forcing urine through a tight, narrow space. It's like lifting weights that are too heavy. Every single day. At first, your muscle gets stronger, but over time, it loses flexibility and starts breaking down. Your bladder muscle is no different. At first, it tries harder. Then it becomes thick, stiff, and begins to contract out of rhythm. And soon, you're peeing more often. Peeing urgently, but never feeling empty. Detrusor hypertrophy doesn't cause pain, but it silently steals your comfort. Every day. You're not just going to the bathroom more, you're never fully emptying. Even worse, it can lead to leakage or accidents before you can reach the toilet in time. And once your bladder muscle fully loses elasticity, it rarely recovers no matter how many pills you take or lifestyle changes you make. There are parts of your body that never complain until they simply can't keep going anymore. Your bladder is one of them. It works quietly, every day, to give you freedom and independence, and all it asks is that you don't overwork it. Have you ever felt that frustrating urge like you really need to pee, but your body just won't let it happen? If so, share your story in the comments below. You never know, it might help someone else feel less alone on their journey to healing. We often think the prostate just grows with age, but that's only part of the story. Something else. Something hidden, and then is silently triggering it to swell faster, grow bigger, and become harder to manage. Even if you've already changed your diet or are taking medication regularly, and that I'll reveal next. It's not your age. It's not your genetics. The real culprit might be a tiny spot of inflammation. No pain, no fever, just quiet damage. Day after day. I remember Mr. Harold, a 66-year-old retired teacher from Michigan. He told me, I didn't feel sick. No fever, no pain, just a weaker urine stream, a constant urge to pee. Even after I just went, and this odd pressure under my belly I couldn't explain. He ignored it. Thought, well, that's just what happens to men my age. Until an ultrasound and lab test revealed the truth: his prostate was under chronic inflammation and already growing out of control. When the prostate gets even mildly irritated, your body sends immune cells to the area. These cells release cytokines, chemical messengers that act like repair workers. At first, they patch things up, but if they're called back again and again, they stop repairing and start building. So the prostate begins to thicken. It swells, day after day. Harvard Medical School found that over 40% of men with BPH benign prostatic hyperplasia also have signs of long-term, low-grade inflammation. This kind of chronic inflammation doesn't hurt, it won't raise your temperature, but it sends the message: keep building, keep growing. As if your body is fixing a problem that doesn't even exist. You feel it as frequent urination, incomplete emptying, a strange heaviness deep inside, and if it's not caught early, you enter a cycle that's hard to break: inflammation, swelling, and non-stop enlargement. The truth is, your body doesn't always shout when something's wrong. Sometimes it just whispers. A weaker stream, a restless night, an urge that appears out of nowhere. But if you ignore those whispers, one day you'll hear it scream from an emergency room bed. Have you ever felt fine, but deep down knew something wasn't right? What quiet symptoms have you brushed off before? Leave a comment below. Your story might be the wake-up call someone else needs, but what's making inflammation worse? Why are so many men over 50 today developing enlarged prostates faster than their fathers ever did? The answer could be hiding in your kitchen, because some of the most familiar foods, the ones we eat every day, may be silently feeding inflammation. One bite at a time, and that's exactly what I'll share with you. Next, did you know? Every spoon of reused frying oil, every can of soda, every bite of bacon could be adding another brick to the invisible wall of inflammation that swells your prostate day after day. It's not just time that's behind the swelling, it's the meals you eat, quietly building it. Let me tell you about Mr. Steven, 62 years old. He owns a bakery in Chicago. He eats on time, rarely drinks, yet he still wakes up 5 times every night just to pee. When I asked about his diet, he laughed and said, "Nothing special. Sausage and iced coffee in the morning, burger for lunch, some salty snacks and a diet soda in the afternoon. Sounds innocent. Right, but the truth is, those repeated meals high in saturated fat, artificial sweeteners, and processed oils are silent fuel for chronic prostate inflammation. Processed foods like deli meats, sausages, fries, and soft drinks, they trigger mild, ongoing inflammation in the body. Your immune system stays on alert, constantly releasing cytokines, those same repairmen we talked about earlier. And every time they show up, they start adding more tissue to your prostate, even if you're not eating a lot, if you're eating the wrong things every day. Inflammation will still build up. Chronic inflammation doesn't come from one bad meal. It comes from small habits, repeated over years. By the time your prostate is noticeably enlarged, those familiar foods have quietly done their job. Your diet isn't just about feeling full. It's a message you send to your body every single day. For your prostate, every bite is either medicine or a trigger, and you get to choose. Keep eating for taste and convenience, or eat for deeper sleep, stronger flow, and fewer midnight bathroom trips. If you've ever changed your diet and felt better or suspect a certain food might be the culprit, share it in the comments below. Your story might save someone else years of discomfort. But even if you eat well, there's still one silent partner making things worse, one even more dangerous than food. It doesn't sit in your stomach. It hides in your sleep. And if you ignore it, every change you make might still fall short. Let's talk about it. Next, you can eat right. You can stay hydrated. But if you're not sleeping well, your prostate may still suffer quietly from the inside out. Mr. Larry, age 67, came to see me. He's been living alone since his wife passed away. He complained of frequent nighttime urination, a weak stream, and months of poor sleep. I asked, "Do you feel pain fatigue?" He paused and said, "Not really. I just don't feel like myself anymore. My body feels slow. My mind is slower. And I wake up needing to pee almost every night." Tests showed his prostate was in the early stages of enlargement, but what stood out the most was how low his testosterone levels were, far below average for his age. Here's why that matters. When you lose sleep, especially night after night, your body ramps up cortisol production. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and it shuts down testosterone. Low testosterone doesn't just impact energy, mood, and strength. It directly affects your prostate, which is extremely sensitive to hormonal imbalance. Lack of sleep also reduces melatonin, the recovery hormone your body produces at night. Without enough melatonin, inflammation lingers longer, and your prostate doesn't get the time it needs to repair and rest. So no, you're not just losing sleep. You're losing the natural shield your body builds each night to protect your prostate. And the scariest part, you might not feel a thing until everything has already gone off track. I know. No one chooses to lose sleep, but often we silently sacrifice rest, telling ourselves, "I'm managing just fine," but sleep isn't luck, it's a right. And sometimes just sleeping enough can begin the healing process without needing a single pill. Have you ever struggled with sleepless nights? Did your body start changing in ways you didn't expect? Just because of lack of sleep? If so, share it below. Your story might be the gentle wake-up call someone else needs, but if sleep is where your body repairs itself, then there are habits we do during the day that may be undoing all that healing work. A cup of afternoon coffee, a drink after dinner, sitting for too long without moving. Together, they create a dangerous combo for your prostate every day, every hour. Let's talk about that. Next, you may not be addicted to alcohol. You might only drink 1 cup of coffee each morning, and maybe you're just sitting at your desk, working, not being lazy. But when these 3 things come together, they form a dangerous trio, slowly and steadily damaging your urinary system and prostate. Mr. James, age 64, came to my clinic. He's an insurance agent just months away from retirement. He was experiencing urgency, mild leakage, and more recently, sudden loss of control when laughing or coughing. Oh, he didn't smoke. He ate fairly well. He slept fine. No chronic stress. So I asked about his daily habits. He replied, 2 black coffees in the morning, at lunch. I usually stay at my desk, barely get up. At night, I have a glass or 2 of wine with dinner and a movie. But doctor, don't worry, I feel okay. His results told a different story. Irregular bladder contractions, weak sphincter muscles, and early signs of chronic prostate inflammation. Here's what was happening. Caffeine found in coffee, tea, and soda stimulates the bladder. It makes you feel the urge more often, tightens your timing, and can even weaken sphincter control. Alcohol, even in small amounts, relaxes the pelvic muscles, causing leaks. Over time, it also weakens the nerves that control the bladder. Lack of movement, especially sitting for hours, reduces blood flow to the pelvic area. This is one of the leading causes of chronic prostate inflammation in men over 60. Each of these alone isn't alarming, but together, they overstimulate the prostate, cut off circulation, and prevent natural healing. Some habits seem harmless until they show up every single day, pulling you further away from deep sleep, strong flow, and the confidence you once had. You don't have to give everything up, but if you don't regain control now, you might be reaching for adult diapers sooner than you'd expect. Your prostate doesn't hate coffee. It just needs you to drink water with it. It doesn't reject alcohol. It just needs you to know when to stop. And it's not weakened by age. It's weakened when you stop standing when your body needs movement most. Do you drink coffee every day? Have you ever noticed yourself sitting for hours without moving? Share your harmless habits in the comments. Together, we can take a closer look and course correct while we still can. Because the prostate still gives us signs. It still reacts. It still warns. But what happens when it's completely worn out? When you can't urinate even when your body is begging to? That's no longer a discomfort. That's a medical emergency. And it can quickly damage something even more critical. Your kidneys. Let's explore that next. Most men think of urinary retention as nothing more than a frustrating delay. But very few know this when you can't empty your bladder for weeks or months. It doesn't just add pressure down below, it can slowly destroy your kidneys. Mr. Ronald, 70, came to see me. He lives in a quiet suburb in Arizona. He didn't come in for prostate issues. He came in because of swollen legs, fatigue, and a loss of appetite. I asked, "Are you urinating regularly?" He hesitated. "I feel the urge often, but not much comes out. Some days, I only go 2 or 3 times, and I really have to push. An ultrasound showed an overfilled bladder. Blood tests revealed clear signs of kidney dysfunction. What Mr. Ronald didn't realize is that months of holding in urine had quietly taken a toll on his kidneys. Normally, the kidneys filter waste and send urine down to the bladder. But when the prostate is enlarged or the bladder muscle is weak, urine doesn't fully empty. It starts backing up, pressure builds, and over time, urine flows backward up the ureters and into the kidneys. It's like a clogged drain. The water doesn't just spill over, it backs up into the pipes behind it, and the kidneys, which are delicate, sensitive organs, can't handle old urine, harmful bacteria, and constant pressure. Urinary retention isn't just an inconvenience. It can quietly damage your kidneys, and by the time you feel tired, lose your appetite, or notice swelling in your legs, early kidney failure may already be underway. The heartbreaking truth, most men don't discover it until it's too late. The prostate won't kill you overnight, but if you ignore it, it can quietly wear down everything else. Your body always speaks first. The question is, are you listening? A weak stream, an incomplete pee. They might be the first cracks in a dam. That's about to break. Have you ever felt the urge, but couldn't go, or caught yourself holding it in? Thinking. I'll go later. Share that feeling below. You never know who might read it and make the change in time. The good news? Not all damage is permanent. If you care for your prostate today in simple, daily ways, you can protect much more than just your flow. You can protect your kidneys, your sleep, and your personal freedom as you age. Let me show you 3 simple, proven ways to start right after this. If there were something you could do every day, no pills, no clinics, yet it could protect your prostate, your sleep, and your freedom in older age, would you do it? Let me tell you about Mr. Albert, 65 years old, a quiet man who repairs watches for a living. He came to me a year ago, waking up 5 times a night to pee, exhausted, with sunken eyes from months of chronic insomnia, but he didn't want to start with medication. Instead, he looked me in the eye and asked, "Doctor, is there something simple I can do on my own every day?" So I shared 3 things with him, and 3 months later, he returned. His eyes were brighter, his sleep was deeper, and his face carried hope again. 1. Pee when your body asks, don't delay. Don't hold it in. Holding your urine increases bladder pressure, which irritates the prostate and fuels inflammation. Listen to your body. Go when it calls, not just when it's convenient. 2. Drink water the right way steadily, not all at once. Many men drink too little during the day, then overdo it at night. That overloads the bladder and disrupts sleep. Instead, sip water evenly throughout the day and ease up after 6 p.m. 3. Move gently, especially your pelvic region. Just 15 to 20 minutes of walking each day can boost blood flow, reduce stagnation, and prevent chronic inflammation. No need to run. Just walk consistently, patiently. You don't have to change your whole life in one day, but if you change nothing, your prostate will be the first to speak up. And by then, the cost will be much higher pills, catheters, or another sleepless night. I've seen too many strong men brought to their knees by one thought, "It's just a small issue. I can tough it out." But prostate health doesn't come from toughness. It comes from small, repeated choices made every day. Caring for your prostate isn't a burden. It's a choice to stay free, to stay in control, and to hold on to your dignity as you age. Have you ever made one small change and seen a big difference? Or maybe you're just now beginning to care for your prostate, starting with one simple habit. Leave a comment below. Your story might be the reason someone else starts early and stays healthy longer. Together, we've uncovered 9 truths, some hard to hear, some gentle reminders, but they all share one thing in common. Your prostate isn't betraying you. It's simply waiting for you to start paying attention before it's too late. And in this final moment, I want to leave you with a quiet reminder, not from a doctor, but from someone who's seen what happens when we know what to do and still don't act. If you've made it this far, then your prostate is no longer just some distant or confusing topic. It's something you're beginning to understand, something you're learning to care for the right way. I once met a man named Carl. He was 72. The first time I suggested a prostate check, he laughed. "I'm healthy. Doc, I don't need any of that." But by the 3rd visit, he wasn't laughing anymore. He sat quietly, eyes low, and said something that stayed with me for a long time. I wish I'd heard all this 10 years earlier. Health, especially prostate. Health never betrays you. It simply reflects the care you give it in every meal, every night of rest, every small daily habit. And the saddest part isn't discovering it too late. It's knowing the truth and doing nothing. You don't have to change everything today. Just start with one thing. Listen to your body. Drink water at the right times. Take a 15-minute walk. because it's the small things that shape a strong, independent, dignified life as you age. If you're still here, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've already gone further than 90% of people who clicked on a health video, and that tells me something powerful. You don't just want to live long. You want to live well, live actively, live responsibly for yourself and for the people who love you. If you haven't clicked subscribe yet, I understand. Maybe you're still thinking, still watching, still deciding. But remember this, the difference between learning early and learning too late might just be one click. And yes, you can always unsubscribe later if it's not for you. But I truly believe one day, the next video you see here might be the one you'll wish you had watched sooner. In the videos to come, I'll keep sharing science-backed, practical, and inspiring advice so you don't just live longer, but stand stronger each and every day. Once again, thank you so much for watching.